Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we're going to be talking about Oona. Now, Oona's been around for a while since Laurel Block, but she is a beast. I know when EDH started getting real popular and exploding, she was one of the go-to generals because there's something to be proud of if you can mill out a 100 card deck, And actually, this is probably the best commander to do that in because she exiles it. It's just mana colon exile cards. If you get lucky and to get the color right, you can get some dudes out of the deal. But that's what it's really about, is the exiling. I do have a few of the fairyish cards in here. There's not a whole lot of creatures. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and get to the creatures. We have the Hedron Crab, which, by the way, if y'all didn't get a chance to draft original Zendikar, this guy was a beast, especially if you had like a weird number at your draft, more than 8, but not enough to get that second pod. If you had like 9 or 10, this guy was uncommon. And if you could get several of them, woo, crazy in a 40-card environment. Spellstutter Sprite, because we don't have a lot of creatures, we do have a lot of counter magic. I mean, that's just where my mind goes with Oona, because you gotta protect her, because that's your stick. Either you're gonna mill them or you're just gonna ping them to death with 1/1 flowers. We got our other mill helper guys, like Phoenix, and now the Fleet Swallower is a nice addition from Ixalan, because this guy just I can't think of the name of the card that's like with this guy. It's the instant, well, almost instant. Uh, he attacks, they mill half their deck, and then it's a blue enchantment that says, hey, they mill equal to the cards they've already milled. Hell, I may have it in here and just not know. I've started a lot of these decks a while ago, and I'm going back and just finishing them now to try to get caught up before I build more, Clone, because it's just a good old fashioned all around whatever you need it to be. It's your dragon blocker or your whatever. Rexel, Seas Deck, or just, and then Gas Lord of Fuge is not bad. Twidweeden, Night Veil Spectre, Sign of Oona, just in case you get that, your ton of fairies, you might as well have them 2/2s, And it also gives your general Shroud. So you got to be careful with Shroud, because even you can't target it. It's kind of funny. The only reason why Hexproof exists is because players were playing Shroud wrong. Players were playing Shroud like it was Hexproof. So Wizards was like, all right, fine. So they created Hexproof and just stopped supporting Shroud. They didn't make any more Shroud cards. Our last creature is Necrotic Ooze, because, I mean, if we're filling graveyards, we might as well be getting a benefit out of it. Reason why I put Necrotic Ooze in and stuff like Animate Dead, because, every now and then, and it's really especially obvious when they go, oh, you got my whatever, and you're like, oh, I just happen to have this Animate Dead. Cool story, bro. Let's look at some mana ramp. Well, actually, no. It's not. I'm not going to call this mana ramp as much as I'm going to call it color fixing. Yeah, you get it early enough, you get enough of it, you can ramp yourself, but it's typically 3, and it just solves your colors. And nothing sucks worse than not being able to play your cards, so that's why I have so much. And the fact that our general does cost a bajillion mana in non-ramp colors of blue and black, so, what can you do? Artifacts here. Now, the Turmoil's Crypt is kind of a have-to card, because, I mean, if you're milling, it's absolutely the worst thing ever for them to you be in the middle of your milling shenanigan and they like, okay, Elixir, Now, I'm running the elixir just because I don't want to get milled out. Again, it is kind of a popular strategy um, because, simply enough, this card right here. Thank you, Mark, for showing me this card. He showed it to me in play, obviously. And it's amazing. Y'all have heard me talk about it before. Jester's Cap is going to get rid of those silver bullets before they ever hit play. When this card came out in Ice Age, man, it was a $20 bill. You know how big something had to be for $20 in Ice Age? Whisper Silk Cloak's going to obviously protect your general, and of course, Damnable Pact is a super sign in blood. The X sign in blood. Love it. Y'all just, nobody please tell my mother-in-law this card exists. Because she loves sign in blood. As a matter of fact, I think she's got one that everybody she's killed with sign in blood has to sign it. Yeah. But anyway. Get to our spells. Now, I'm running the Tragic Slip. You're looking at my only one drop in the deck. Hello. Let's see. Hurkyl's Recall is one of the better reactionary cards there is. I mean, there's so many decks that just... I have seen Brea players scoop to this card. I've seen Atraxa players scoop to this card. Anything that's, heavy artifact. Dude, don't attack me. Hey, I thought I told you not to attack me. Now put all your rocks back in your hand. We don't have a lot of rocks, so I mean, it's not going to bother us a whole lot if somebody destroys all artifacts. We're not, going to cast this to. But it does get around that nasty indestructible forge because it just puts them back in their hand. It don't destroy them, but it gets them off the board. So I like it. I like Hurkyl's Recall. I know a lot of people like it. It's played in like everything. Shadow of the Doubt's another one of my personal favorite cards because this says counter target tutor. Draw card. That's what I use it for. There's Shadowing of Doubt, a demonic tutor, is good. It's a good feeling. But let me tell you what. Let somebody pop a fetch land. And that, I don't know why that feels so good. Because you're costing them an entire turn. The entire land drop. So if you get it early enough. Shadow of the Doubt's a great card. If nothing else, it does replace itself. So, good old-fashioned Dimir Charm, because why not, options. Doomblade and the blue Doomblade turn to Frog, because, let's face it, that's what it's going to be. It loses all its abilities. You're going to play it during the attack and block it with something nominal and kill it. This is the blue Doomblade. That's how I look at it. Nameless Inversion. Terror. That's right. I'm running Terror. Redirect, because as many of these spells that they print to change targets, nobody plays with them. Like, Misdirection gets played, but I can't tell you the last time I've seen Misdirection played in a deck that wasn't mine. So, anyway, good old-fashioned Counter Squall, Negate, and just the hard counter spell. Those are my 2 drops. Let's move on into 3 drops. Like I said, Propaganda is kind of a necessity. Mind Funeral can net you some cards. I mean, as far as card for card mill, 4 lands, I've seen a Mind Funeral in EDH get as many as like 20 cards. That's crazy. Dimir Machinations is going to go get any 3-drop that you've got. More than likely, it's going to be your Whisper Silk Cloak to protect your general. But any of these cards here, if you just got to have the Murder or the Trickery, Hinder. By the way, there is a Hinder Tunnel Vision. Another buddy of mine, Danny, has done that to me a couple of times, and it is so funny. You hinder, you counter the card, you put it on the bottom of the deck, and he always asks, hey, what's the name of that card? And you tell him, you're like, oh, crap. And then he casts Tunnel Vision, names that card. You mill till you hit a card named that card, and, you just, hey, you have no deck. GG. Don't have a tunnel vision, or else it would totally be in here just for that combo in honor of him and in honor of me losing so many games to it. Disallow Oona's Grace. Whoa, why are we fuzzy? Come on now. How long have we been fuzzy? We've been fuzzy too long. There we go. And then Sadistic Sacrament. Now, it's been a while since I've talked about Sadistic Sacrament. It may look like this costs 3 mana, but it in fact costs 10 mana. Because once you read it, there's no way that you're going to cast it for 3 and get 3 cards when you can cast it for 10 and get 15 cards. Whoa. That's a lot of answers. FYI, by the time you get this, just don't pick out, unless you're running this in a, Armageddon style deck, don't get the lands. Don't do it, because if you just take out 15 of their lands and they don't draw any more lands and they're drawing nothing but business for the rest of the game, you just help them. Unless you have a way of destroying all the lands that are currently on the board, and that's fine too. But I use this to get rid of like all the removal or anything I'm scared of that I can't deal with. Eldrazi gods, you're out of here because they, shuffle back in and whatever. All those type effects is the reason why I have Sadistic Sacrament in here. We got to mutilate. It's probably going to kill our general, but typically you're going to board wipe early on, with either the Mutilate or the Crux of Fate as you're getting built up before you're just, you're committing. Because you're going to want to wipe the board before you put your general out there and start getting your shenanigans going. Diabolic Tutor is, of course, going to help you with that. Distant Melody. I mean, the only thing I wish Distant Melody had was target player draws cards. That would be cool, but I'll take drawing the fairies. Control Magic's going to steal what you want and rewind. Another hard counter in the 4 slot. In our 5 slot, Final Revels is a card I don't think that gets enough love. Here again, I build so many decks and I try to use, alternate cards because 1, I don't want every deck to be the same, and 2, you run out of some cards. That's why you haven't seen a Soul Ring in this deck. But it does help out either way you're trying to win. If you're trying to win with your Flying Fairy route, hey, there's that. Or if you're just trying to stay alive to mill them and, annihilate all the goblins or elves or whatever, there's that. Now, Dire Undercurrents is the number. I think it's like 1,000% synergy with Oona because you're getting a blue-black fairy. And so it's going to trigger both of these. You're going to draw, they're going to discard, and everybody knows discard's amazing. Archive Trap. Hey, remember we talked about the fetch land? Yeah, that's 99% of the time when I cast a free Archive Trap, it's because somebody fetched. Either an actual fetch or a Terramorphic Evolving Wilds, whatever. But, yeah, it's easy to do on turn 1. Extract from the Darkness. They just mill 2 and, you get a dude. It's not bad, right? It's totally fair and balanced. Traumatize is going to, of course, take the top half. Mind Grind. Now, Mind Grind is amazing because at late game, you've got a ton of mana. This just, more times than not, mills out one player. Or gets them low enough to where it doesn't matter anymore. The altar takes care of them or whatever. And then last but not least, the first big card that they ever made for deck selective, exiling is Denying Wind. it is a little bit of mana, 9 mana, and you're getting 7 cards, but still, that was kind of the theme here with the denying wind, the cap, and the sadistic sacrament. I wanted to be able to selectively go in and more copies of these. You can get multiple people's decks to make sure that they don't have anything to rotate around to get around your milling or exiling off the top of their deck, what have you. Well, that's what I've got for Oona. Matt, hope I made you proud. It's my version of Oona. Anyway, y'all let me know what you think. But right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.